And welcome back, guys, to game 2 of Team Cormicko versus YeetingBeanz here in Rivalry Captain's Draft Group A. Just going for the solo cast after having a quiet first game there, kind of observing how things were going on. So, just getting into chat stacked here. The test band straight away, not surprising at all. Beanz kind of had a bit of a monstrous performance on that. Getting a few kills up in the top, fight in the top side, and then kind of just snowballed off of that. And yeah, just really good stuff from him. Also, good performance from Waxy as well. Kind of made the big difference in the jungle against Yubel. Had some good ganks, had some good pressure off the way he was clearing. See how this ends up going. Obviously, also thanks to Sean, by the way, for first subscriber. It's pretty pog. Bans. Bunch of stuff. Not too surprised to see Band taking away Morgana from Robster, one of his comfort picks. Doesn't take Waxy's Hecarim away, who, as we said, had a good performance. So, and then standard stuff like the Udyr and the Victor coming in, and then also the Lulu, which is unusual, but I think maybe one's probably played it a couple times, so maybe that makes some sense. They want to try abuse Cormicko in this lane because Blank and Roster had a good bit of pressure in the last game. They just weren't really able to translate it into many 2v2 kills. Do you have the Seraphine acquired here, which is a really strong pick? Can be flexed in theory between Blank and Nefarious, but most likely going to Nefarious again. Had a pretty good performance on it. The last one had some really nice teamfight ultis. The Kai'Sa also denied from Blank. Waxy will take the Viego this time. Okay, so let's see if he can have any more luck with it than Yubel did. Nope. And what's after happening here? Right. So looks like graph's staying the same, so nothing. Oh, yes, good shape. I will start putting up predictions now, and I have to award the last ones. Thank you. So I believe the outcome was YeetingBeanz, who nobody predicted. For shame. For absolute shame on you lads. So we'll start prediction here. Game 2. We'll put about 10 minutes on that, and we can end it if it gets starting in the game. What's this now, though? Okay, so it looks like we need to wait 3 to 5 minutes for a player to return, so can I extend the predictions, or do we just cancel and just redo it when it comes back? I should be able to just cancel it, right? Let's take a quick look. Okay, so I'm just going to delete that prediction, guys. Just because players can take a while to reconnect, we don't know when the game can start. But you should be refunded the points, and we'll restart the prediction once we're actually into Chelsea proper. But in the meantime, we'll go to a quick break, and we'll be back shortly. Okay, and we're back into Champs League now. I'll get that predictions up for you guys. Give me one moment there. And that should be up there now. Cool. So yeah, as we were saying before, players end up DCing. So I like to pick so far. Getting Cormicko on a strong 80 carry that also denies blank one of his better champions. They did give up some power picks in return in the Seraphine and the Viego. But they've answered here with Diana, which can be quite strong in mid lane. I think probably has like a good bit of kill pressure here on the Seraphine if Nefarious doesn't respect the all-in. So I like that Hawkins is going for this kind of style here. Of course, obviously the Seraphine can be flexed to support in theory, or to 80 carry, but I doubt Blank's going to play it. So could see Nefarious maybe pick up something a bit safer in response to it. And they will lock in the Jinx, so that's a pretty strong 80 carry. Obviously, she's quite strong at the moment. Kind of a bit more scaling focused in a way, but definitely has strong spikes especially when it gets her mythic and her second item. Even then, she's still can be quite potent. And obviously loves kind of longer drawn out fights, so picking that into things like the Ornn makes a lot of sense. And we start seeing some top laners here trying to put down YeetingBeanz a bit more. Stuff that's just going to generally bully out the Ornn. Meanwhile, we're having junglers targeted away against Evil. Kind of confirming that this is a jungle Diego. Roxy. And Greg is also down the way from Beans, so Chap will hit a little bit here for Beans, but he should still have plenty of picks up and available. We could see something like the Wukong perhaps come out, unless they want more of a standard tank. They'll probably end up picking support. No, they don't need to pick support because they're already on top. So, yeah, they're gonna pick the Wukong here, try bully out the Ornn. Oh no, okay, so okay, that makes a lot of sense actually, because Braum shield means you can block the Ornhorn ulti. Also denies like a decent pairing with the Kai'Sa. I think this makes a lot of sense. It can pair up really well with Jinx as well. Kind of also can mess up Diana when she goes for her dives, means you get the passive on her, Jinx can instantly proc it with the attack speed, and then Diana's just kind of a sit and duck. So that's actually a really huge pickup. The Ivern picked in response. Obviously, a little bit unusual. Can have a lot of impact though, with all the healing and shielding he can provide. And then we are going to see the spicy Blitzcrank come out here. So very hard engage 2v2 bot lane. We definitely want to try be more aggressive. It seems like here around game 2. See if they can kind of make that happen. But you can set that behind this Jinx early and make it like really difficult for her. It makes it really, yeah, her like it's really tough for her to get back to a game, given kind of what the pace of the game is at the moment. And then Wukong is indeed actually picked up in the end here for YeetingBeanz, so no big surprises here. I guess the one thing I will say is that there's definitely easier engage here for the side of Team Cormicko, right? You've got the Ornhorn that can engage from so far away. You've also got things like Blitzcrank Hook, you know, you can run up and try pressure somebody. And then you've got follow up with Kai'Sa, Diana, kind of dive buddies with Ivern shielding, like, so that's pretty potent. Looking at the other side, like, yes, you have like Wukong, who's kind of like your primary engage in a sense for Team YeetingBeanz, and then off the back of that, you can have the follow-up Seraphine ulti, and then Braum ideally is more acting as peel than as kind of secondary engage. So, but you've kind of got good wombos on both sides here in terms of team fighting. So I like what I see from both. I think the biggest swing here is going to be determined by top and jungle, like it was in the last game. If Beans can kind of keep putting on the hurt onto Epic Simeon, and Waxy can kind of use this Viego pick to really try bully out the Ivern, look for opportunities to start, you know, snowballing himself off that, then we could see a repeat of game 1. But I'm interested to see what Team Cormicko can do this time around, especially Cormicko himself with Kai'Sa Blitzcrank. If they can try to find some opportunities here in bot lane, maybe they can try set a different tone for game 2. But with that, guys, we'll go to a quick break while waiting for Spectator Lay, and we should be back to you shortly. And welcome back, guys, to game 2 here of YeetingBeanz versus Team Cormicko here in the Rivalry Captain's Draft Group A. Strong performance from YeetingBeanz game 1. Kind of has set the tone for the series so far. We'll see if Cormicko's can find a way back and get themselves at least 1 point here in the standings. They're kind of towards the bottom of Group A, so every win counts for them at the moment. Whereas if YeetingBeanz if they do get the second win here, kind of puts themselves in a really comfortable position to get out of groups. Nothing too spicy here at level 1. Maxie's just going to get leash here from Beans. So it looks like that means probably padding towards bot lane, maybe trying to make an impact perhaps on what is somewhat a volatile lane, obviously. Every time there's blitzcranks in the game, he's always going to want to try shake things up a little bit, so maybe Waxy wants to try to prevent that from happening. Beans already getting off to an early aggressive start. Has taken a lot of damage here against Epic Simeon, but it's built to conquer, so happy enough to keep trading deeply and just force him off the wave. You see Simeon's after getting that early ward down because he's afraid of getting early ganked once again. And yeah, the Ivern's just, I don't know, just trying to full clear as best he can. And the Raptors is around mid lane. If actually could see a contest here for this boss scuttle. Beans getting the Simeon quite low, has built up to conquer once again. Does have kill threat here. Does force the flash out, so nice early plays once again from YeetingBeanz. And in the meantime, Yubel hovering bot lane, looking for something while Waxy's taking the boss scuttle. Hook on the Braum, have the follow-up CC2, but right now Rob just tanking it all up with the shield, and it's going to be collapsed here on the Blitzcrank. He is going to go down. First blood going to the Viego, which is going to be quite scary. Definitely not what you wanted, Team Cormicko wanted to see. Off the back of that play. Probably should have called it off when they didn't really have an angle on the Jinx, because the Braum was just able to just soak up way too much damage, and they just didn't have enough kind of kill threat this early on. So, well played there by Team YeetingBeanz. Turn that one around. Oh. Ronan looking for the flash play. Fortunately, just dodged out by Rob, just using the stand behind me, so means that that playmaking ability for Blitzcrank slightly diminished here. Oh, does land the hook on Blank though. Does have his own summoners to get out, so it's likely going to be fine. It doesn't even need them, so doesn't. But respect does need to be given to that Blitzcrank. Can make plays like this. Should have hook up in a second, but not in time to punish mispositioning there from Rob, so not much can happen. Oh, big hook there coming from Wonin. Holy moly. Oh no. Okay, there we go. You know what? I don't know if I would have blown the heal there as Cormicko, because you were kind of done for anyway. But ultimately, they trade flashes and Cormicko gets a kill in their tower. So he'll be happy enough with that. And Ronan already at the mid lane after that bot lane play. And it looks like he's just trying to help Hawkins get the shove in here so they can reset. Makes sense. So yeah, nice proactive early plays coming here from Wonin. Definitely didn't work out for them in the first gank, but hasn't been deterred like that by that, and that's always a good sign. Beanz continuing to trade away here onto Simeon. Let's bait out the Oran Horn. No, actually, probably doesn't have enough damage here to kill Simeon underneath the tower, unless Simeon stays here, but no, he's going to walk away, so it's fine. Okay, well then, looking for the knockup there. It's fighting into a big wave though, so it's taking a huge chunk of his HP. Bugle here though, with the Ivern, means that ultimately it's just a bait. Cormicko's trying to get the last hit here onto Blank. Just slightly shorter range, does manage to get it with the W. And Rob is not going to be long for this world. Oh, does have the flash to get out though, so actually going to be perfectly okay. So, a lot invested there to get that kill onto Blank, but denying him more CS, trying to get Cormicko ahead here on the Kaisa. Makes a lot of sense. Try to delay the hyperscaling ADC here and juice up your own. Gold relatively even overall though. Take a quick look. Like there's only 100, you know, so yeah, Cormicko's only actually 100 gold up on Blank, so it's not like he's got a huge lead here so far. Most of the gold disparity seems to be between the junglers, with Waxy taking the lead there, and then there's a bit of a 3 CS lead here in mid lane. Hawkins putting out a lot of pressure here against Icarius, who seems to be just trying to play with as much respect as possible. So she's trying to farm whatever kind of comes closer to her turret. Makes sense, you don't want to snowball to Diana. Well, man. Trying to make some cheeky plays here, but YeetingBeanz is really low. Probably have to end up resetting here, and has already blown his TP, so is gonna miss out on a few minions here. See how quickly Epic Selena wants to end up shoving this in. And in fact, for how well the trading's going on in topside, he's actually down like 20 CS here onto Simeon. And he did get a plate for himself, but Simeon's going to actually trade that back, so ultimately the gold is going to be even more in favor of Simeon overall. So better game so far from Simeon here after a bit of a disastrous game one, we'll say. Oh, Beanz looking to stop the recall here. Don't know if he has the full-on kill pressure here on Simeon. Is chunked him down quite a bit though. Has built up the conquer stacks and is using both stacks of his ulti. Oh, he's barely a millisecond off being able to secure that kill. Got a little too greedy for it and ends up getting punished there by Epic Simeon. Very nicely done. Yeah, a bit of a tower diff, unfortunately, for Mr. Beanz. Will end up being sent back to the fountain once again. He's going to miss even more minions after being sent back early. Oh, Wonin with the play mid lane. Does land the hook. And unfortunately, Nefarious too late with the flash because she was silenced by the Blitz ulti. Nicely set up by Wonin and well executed. So they're going to get themselves more pressure here in the mid lane. Trying to get themselves a... Oh, nice hook by Wonin. Holy moly, he is popping off here on the Blitzcrank, forcing Waxy to flash out. So yeah, Blitzcrank paying off big time here so far in the early game. And netting a lot of pressure between bot lane and mid lane. We'll see if they can translate that into anything meaningful. There isn't a dragon for a while. The first dragon did go over to Waxy. Oh, YeetingBeanz going super low here once again against Epic Simeon in a 1v1. It's actually just getting clapped here by this Ornn. He's trying to pull off the Great Escape, but fortunately, Simeon unnecessarily blowing the flash. Guess he was scared of the last hit timer kind of fading out, but still had plenty of time to secure that kill. TP now coming in towards bot lane though by Nightberry is very deep back in the lane. Not really going to be able to get much of that when wasn't any CT landed. So you should see that get punished pretty harshly here now. You're going to see this mid tower just go straight down because Herald was used here. So a lot of gold being funneled into the Diana, which you don't want to see happening. Ronan fostering aggressive once again, so he uses the ulti just to try to get his quick shove, it looks like. And Waxy try and get the kill here on Diana. Doesn't look like he secured it. As the Rector camera is kind of taking a life of its own. Once again, we're seeing top laners go right at it. Nice flash by YeetingBeanz to go over the Ornn ulti. Just continuing to chase down Simeon, but the Ivern is here to turn it around. YeetingBeanz going down once again in top lane. Meanwhile, Rob is going to go down here in the mid lane. Blank seems to have a bit more damage than Cormicko here. Well, the CC is down here for the Blitzcrank, so they're not going to continue to force on it, but Blank does have to play respectfully. Does get hooked. He is just going to end up straight up dying. So yeah, I mean, we're seeing some really good performances after game one here for Team Cormicko, especially Epic Simeon here on the Ornn, who is not backing down from these trades against the Wukong. Is definitely having more of an impact this time around. See now, YeetingBeanz 2 level down on the Ornn. Has to deal with that Sunfire cape. So, oh, Nefarious, there it is. Yeah, Seraphine so vulnerable to this Diana, who's got herself 2 kills and a Night Harvester. So very scary to deal with. Anytime Seraphine has to walk up towards the wave now, and Diana's around, she's gonna always have that threat being doubled upon. And this should just open up this dragon here for Team Cormicko. Like, they have pressure in mid lane, they have the wave frozen in bot lane for the moment, but see, you can see Ronan clearing a vision here. Hasn't spotted those wards there in the river bush though. And they don't actually have anyone here on the map. Jungler's reset. Diana's moving towards top lane. And Dragon spawning in 2 seconds. So actually, maybe squandering their map position a little bit, but YeetingBeanz team at the moment. Oh, Nefarious caught out once again. Does nice hook there from Ronan, and yeah, just well timed with the roam. So they are actually going to end up securing themselves the dragon in the end. Not being any contest here from Team YeetingBeanz. So definitely Nefarious caught in no man's land there, kind of making life harder on yourself if you have to walk up that far to try with no tower in the mid lane. Ends up getting punished for it. Beans is having a horrible time up here. It's down a lot of CS. Still doesn't have his first item. Getting chunked out so hard every time by these battle breath combos. Oh, and Nefarious once again getting caught out by Hawkins. That is rough to see. Oh, she might just barely make it out, but slightly too late there on the ulti cast. Does end up going down. Right now, Blank also just trying to hold on to his own tower in bot lane, trying to be somewhat of a linchpin for his team. Does have a fairly sizable like CS lead here on Cormicko, but it's kind of evened out by all the kills. You see there's like a slight gold lead for Cormicko, so he is trying to scale with the Jinx. Try to be somewhat of a carry potential for later in the game, but right now they're definitely feeling the pinch. Nearly 6k gold down, I should say, sorry. Oh, Simeon. With just enough mana, the cast that ulti does land it, and they manage to make the dive work. Beanz is just getting absolutely dicked on here in the top lane at the moment. Between the jungle and between Jubel and between Epic Simeon. So well played on them to keep snowballing that and to play around. You can be more aggressive tendencies, you could say. So that's interesting. I'm trying to think now what kind of state the map is in. There is the Herald spawn here in the next 10 seconds, but probably won't see either team take that for a while, if at all. It's not super valuable when you've got most of the tier 1s down already and the tier 2 in the mid lane. So you won't be able to get as big a use out of it. Looks mostly you're going to see Cormicko's team look to maybe pressure around this boss tier 1 just so they can open the map just that little bit more and get themselves ready for the next dragon which is in 2 minutes 30, because it is an infernal map. So obviously either side would love to get those infernal dragons, and once again Nefarious just can't farm, just is unable to farm because Hawkins is just always around the corner ready to pounce. 0, 5 and 1 having a rough time here, Nefarious. So it feels they really need to kind of staunch the bleeding here. Need to get their vision down. Needs to try get this somewhat set up. Get their items before the next objective, because that's where your kind of comp comes together, right? Beanz is not winning the 1v1 into the Ornn. Seraphine is not winning the 1v1 into Diana. You want to use those big ultis as a wombo combo and potentially get yourself a winning fight. And get yourself somewhat of a foothold back into this game. Otherwise, you're just going to kind of keep seeing this happening. Looks like the jungler for Team Cormicko has disconnected once again. They were having some issues in the champ select, so hopefully they should be back soon, guys. But yeah, looking a bit rough there for anyone who bet on Team YeetingBeanz. That's a lot of points. There, especially by Mr. Talkie-Walkie. Gonna be a rough fall from grace if that goes through. Guess while we're chilling and waiting for Jubel to reconnect the game, I want to shout out to everyone watching the stream and who's followed, and to our first subscriber. Thank you all. It's been fun building up the stream and getting all these games cast. Hope to start making more improvements as we go. So I guess while we're waiting, we should try to see what they can possibly do to get back into this game. If you're team YeetingBeanz, as you will start reconnecting there. So you've got Infernal coming up in just over a minute. You're not hugely behind on item spikes. The biggest difference right now is in mid lane, with Diana getting that Lich Bane. But honestly, Seraphine's second item isn't like hugely important for a team fight if she can at least land multiple procs of that ultimate. Gonna get that CC going. Because all they really need is to land enough CC to give Blank enough time to just wail on them with the Jinx rockets. I think he must be pretty close to being able to finish that rune, and so if he can get that before the dragon fight, that could be potentially a way back into the game for them. But honestly, the Diana and the Ornn are going to be pretty tough to deal with. But if they can navigate themselves around that, that'd be pretty huge. We do see Simeon and people are getting themselves a Herald in the meantime. I think that's fine. Still have plenty of time here to reset for the dragon, which is in a minute. And having the Herald in your pocket always helps if you want to gain that. You want to even just throw down for a cheeky bit of extra pressure. Side lane. Of course, if they hold onto it and win a big fight, they can always just use it and just try to open up the base straight away. Because with that tier 2 gone in mid, and while looking likely like they're probably going to have the mid prio going into that objective, they could definitely get themselves a big win off that. So yeah, 20 seconds on Dragon. Diana is probably going to get the mid priority here. Wonin is going to be starting to scatter vision in the area. It has the threat of the Blitz hook. So they should be able to just walk into this. You might just see, yeah, with resets from Blank and Rob this late, I don't think you're going to see a contest come out. They're just going to concede this one, which makes sense, I think. You don't have the runes on the Jinx. There's just not enough gold in general in their pockets right now, so Blank looking for the cheeky seal with the Jinx rockets, but doesn't get it. Beans trying to make something happen here in top lane once again. Does have that Divine Sunderer complete. Has the long chase down here on Epic Simeon, who doesn't have support of any of his team nearby. Waxy is here. Beans has gotten super low. Oh, Simeon ends up missing the Ornn ulti, but Waxy doesn't continue the fight. I guess they're just scared that they don't know who's on the who's where on the map, so they didn't want to keep chasing the Ornn. So ultimately, a lot of time wasted for nothing means that Cormicko and Wonin and Evil can get his Herald down here, get themselves a tier 2 in the bot lane, and get it probably at least a charge off onto the base, get a lot of damage onto that inhibitor tower. Beans getting hooked and knocked up. Doesn't take too much damage. That's a clone. Bears the front fist. Oh, big charm there coming from Nightfarious. Does land it on Wonin. You're starting to see kind of elements of that one will come in as we have Simeon also kind of caught out of position here. Is just too tanky on Yorn at the moment, so not really under much threat, but nice pick by Nightfarious to kind of get themselves at least some gold back in their pockets and at least, you know, put the fear of that kind of wombo combo in the hearts of Team Cormicko. Still a long way to go though, but does give them a little bit more breathing room. Blank should get the reset here because he should have his rune in the bare minimum, but I think they're scared of the enemy team's going to rush the Baron. But they've confirmed that now that's not the case, so Blank is going to reset here. Nyfaria is currently holding up as best she can in bot lane, does have the TP available if something were to break out here, but we'll likely see Beans go down there now after his reset. Oh, no, is going to end up just recalling. So, yeah, Team Beans just still wary of the fact that Cormicko's can rush this Baron down if they so choose. There is a ward in the back of the pit that they should clear out now. Okay, they finally get it. So, and they're kind of forcing Team Beans to have to try face check the area into a lot of fog of war against a Blitzcrank, which is always scary to have to deal with. Blank does have the runes complete and just the crit cloak as a component for the third, so doesn't have like a huge amount of like raw damage to work with. It's mostly got the attack speed. Still only the one item for Nyfarius, but the Baron has been started up here after all this vision's been choked out. Beans and Nyfarius are also split, so she's going to TP mid. As there seems to be somewhat forcing on Team Hawkins. So they are just going to back out, so they get the TP for free. Well, yeah, basically for free. Because they're not under any real rush to get this Baron yet. So I think that's fine. Means now that you can put you can start pressuring the side lane a little bit more, and then you're forcing Nyfarius to stay with the team while Beans has to go deal with that. Also, we have the next dragon coming up in 45 seconds too, which would put Team Cormicko here onto solo points. So see what they end up deciding to do. They kind of got bodies split across the map here. Looks like Evil's going to go for reset, so I'd say likely running towards the dragon straight off that. Hawkins just kind of showing his face here. Trying to keep Team Beans guessing as whether they're going to commit to the dragon or the Baron. There's no real vision to speak of to work on either side of the map for Team Beans. They have a couple of wards snuck into the pit, but absolutely nothing down boss side, so they have no idea what could be happening. And so they kind of just have to play respectfully. Once again, they're going to just concede this dragon, which is going to mean that they're going to have even more headaches later on when that soul is on the cards. In a very rough position here. Wonin looking for the play. Just gets a cheeky knock up and walks away. He is looking for an angle. You can see him fishing for possible hooks. But they're taking their time. They're not overforcing anything at the moment. They know they have enough of a gold lead that honestly they can just force Team Beans to fight them on their terms. The only thing is Hawkins is bot side, doesn't have a TP available. Oh, Ronan potentially getting chased down here. 2 ultimates used, but nothing ends up coming off of it. So that is 2 big team fight ultis not available for Team YeetingBeanz, and they will end up looking like they're going to regret that as Beans itself is caught out. Nice hook by Wonin. Forces that flash from Beans. Nice block here by Rob. As they're trying to just kite their way out of the fight that they just do not want right now. Rob is getting chunked down solo. Hawkins doing so much damage. Beans recalling in a dodgy spot. Does end up walking away. Hawkins gets caught by the root caller. Not root caller. The surfing I should say. But yeah, it just means that they can just start wailing away on this Baron now, and they're going to shred it really quickly with the Kaisa in particular, who has the upgraded Kraken player as well as their own passive. Hawkins can kind of just threaten the all-in here on any number of the targets because he's just so far ahead right now. 3 full complete items and the Zhonya's. Oh, the Wukong was just not enough there for Beanz. It's just too far behind. Isn't able to tank any damage whatsoever. Now the Baron did fully reset, so they are kind of starting from scratch on this, but honestly there's just no way for yeah, there's just no way for Team YeetingBeanz to even try to contest this, so they're just going to concede this completely. Putting themselves in a really, really rough position now. Baron has eventually gone down here. So yeah, I mean, like, it's just rough, right? Like, it's like 10k gold down. Your hyper carry hasn't been really given a chance to like actually fight in any of these kind of skirmishes. Like, so there's a lot of like those kind of zoning ultimates like get blown, and then there's just no actual frontline for her because your Braum can tank for a short bit with the shields up, but after that he is only on the support budget, so he's going to go down super quickly to these fed carries on Team Cormicko. And Beanz himself, like, he should be kind of like this kind of bruisery kind of frontline engage, he just has no health. Like, he's like so far off his second item that he's not really able to absorb all that much. So if you don't get the gauge up it perfectly, it's just really hard to make anything happen. Just kind of do see Team Cormicko are fishing for a fight here. Nice blitz hook from Wolin. He's been on point this game, making things happen. 1, 3, and 8. Very big performance from him here in game 2. Much improved on what felt like a really passive lane from them in game 1. See now, the third item is complete for Blank. It does have the IE, so the Jinx will be doing a lot of damage if she's allowed to hit some targets. Beanz was looking for the flank play. His half health has gone in. Oh, goes down so quickly though. Seraphine ulti has followed up though. Has managed to find the Diana, and we're seeing the Jinx starting to pop off now. So actually 2 kills going over to Team YeetingBeanz as Epic Simeon is in the midst of them on his own. Does have Cormicko with him now. Oh, they managed to get the kill on Blank. Oh, that's so big. Rob just too late there on the Braum ulti before to follow anything up. So what looked like a really good fight for Team YeetingBeanz gets shut down real quick there now. Simeon's way out of position. What are you doing? Like, it's like, I guess he just barely lives this because of Ivern shields, but like so bizarre. Ewell is gonna possibly look for the steal here. If he can get it, obviously it's huge, but I don't think he can. It should be just soul delayed here for, yeah, it's gonna be no soul just yet for Team Cormicko. YeetingBeanz have managed to play their way, or at least they've managed to buy themselves some time. Wonin is trying to force stuff here though, has caught out YeetingBeanz. Huge pick there off the back of that. But what can I get for it? Baron's run out. There's no objectives on the map after losing that dragon. Are they going to just try use their numbers advantage to force them here in the mid lane? They have a bit of a wave. They could probably chunk this out pretty quickly. Well, the Ornn isn't with them and he doesn't have TP. So maybe we're going to see a 44 fight breakout here in the base. Waxy caught Wonin is just an absolute monster with his Blitzcrank. Just the absolute god hand this game. Waxy ends up buying a lot of time with the stopwatch. So it doesn't go down, so it's not the game ending push quite yet for Team Cormicko, but they've got 2 inhibitors. They have your Dorn pressuring on here in the bot lane. He's not really under any sort of threat whatsoever, because if the enemy team does commit to him, then they just lose their 3rd inhibitor, and it's almost just guaranteed game over at that point. So nice map play overall coming out from Team Cormicko. They're being relatively patient, which is definitely not the usual thing you'd see in Div 2. I think I can say that with some certainty. Definitely things tend to be a little more chaotic, especially in the late game, but we'll see what ends up happening. Baron here in 1 minute. This is going to be the big one. If Team Cormicko do secure that with 2 super waves to work with and such a low top inhibitor tower, then it's all but guaranteed to be over. Cormicko Yuval does end up flashing out, so again, bit of space bot here for Team YeetingBeanz. But yeah, Brinkos are undeterred by this. They're trying to push in as hard as possible. They don't really have a wave to work with right now. Oh, big hook. Oh my lord. That's absolutely massive. Waxy is trying to do his absolute best here in the backside, but Beanz, you can see, is just not having the best game, unfortunately, on this Wukong. The ulti's not having the impact that they would want, and yeah, that is going to be game 2 going over to Team Cormicko, as we're going to get ourselves a tie, a rare tie in Group A, which I know is the norm for Group B, but that's pretty big. That's a really great performance here, actually, from Team Cormicko. Especially Ronan had such a big impact on this game, and managed to land so many crucial hooks to kind of keep them snowballing throughout the game. Kind of really denied any of the kind of one-will combos opportunities you'd see from Team YeetingBeanz. And Simeon too, also having a good performance in the 1v1s. Also had a little bit of jungle help, but yeah, that was really well played. And we are going to transition to that. And we'll just take a quick look here at the graphs. And we'll pay out the prediction there for you guys. So, looks like that is going to be all, guys. Big comeback here from Team Cormicko in the series. Enjoyable cast. And yeah, I think we'll take it easy from there. So we're going to check if anyone is able to raid. Let's give it 1 sec there. Sure, may as well stick on the LEC. Alright guys, we're gonna head off. Thanks for watching. Talk to you guys next time.